and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our category 1 riders, in green our category 2, in blue category 3 and category 4 in red. We've got riders distance, so already with 2 minutes on the clock, with 1.3k cover, we're going to see another counter-attack here because Kochkov is going across. This is a big push. Over 9 watts per kilo.
7 riders at the moment down the road in category 1 being charged with Martins here. Kaminski, Panitza, Martins, Tolbert, Van Els, Knudsen. You do not want to let this group go. And the stretch behind is coming on the chase group because they've realised they do not want to let this group go.
The problem with this course is for riders who are not on form, if you get distance at the Leeward Desert Climb, you're not going to get back on because the drop off the far side is not long enough. Graves is aware of that, so is Mr. X100, 7.5 watts per kilo. They do not want to let that chase group come back. They do not want to give away that lead that easily. They've gone past Ben Kirk. Interesting moves there, going over the top of Kirk.
If Jeff can just tuck in, and I tell you what he's trying, he's kicking out 5 watts per kilo to try and stay in this group at the moment. They've also picked up Stretting as well, so it's just the top 12 riders in front of them in the category 4 race. If these 2 riders can take the tow, they could get back into the mix.
Puckett is going to make contact here. Will he have recovered enough as we go on to the next kicker? It's 36.7k covered. Bob Bucker, who's about to make contact. Shurek is at 4 seconds.
The question is, who is going to go for the sprint here? Alex West launches in a phenomenal attack from the pack. First rider to respond. Tim Connell goes too, so does Warren and Winfield. Zanaska happy to sit at the back. It is Connell versus West, West versus Connell. I think it's going to be Alex West who takes that from Connell. It's going to be close. Had it been another metre or 2, it could be different. No, I called it wrong. Tim Connell takes the win.
Madame, messieurs, bonjour, ravi de vous retrouver sur MyWhoosh pour ce Sunday Race Club catégorie au départ, la catégorie 4 en rouge, les bleus de la catégorie 3, la catégorie 2 en vert et bien sûr la catégorie 1 en jaune avec les rouges qui vont ouvrir le bal.
Et c'est Tom Walker qui accélère pour prendre le maillot vert. Bien joué Tom Walker qui est le premier maillot vert de cette 3e manche qui réagit en personne donc à la suite de Oleg Kolechov. Et derrière, le peloton est déjà en train d'exploser puisque c'était Koistinen qui l'avait emporté. Vous voyez, regardez, ça collabore, hein, il fait des signes, c'était sympa ce petit geste là, cette petite animation pour montrer que Mr. X100 demande le relais à Philip Graves. Elle a l'ami est sacrément costaud. Et le peloton derrière qui n'est pas loin, mais tout de même, il y a 5 secondes. Bien joué, elle a l'ami. Incroyable! L'américain Aiden Pooker qui est revenu de derrière. Ça veut dire qu'on roule plus devant. Ça veut dire que le groupe des 5 se regarde. Parce que pour Kaiden Pooker, et ça revient de derrière d'ailleurs. Vous avez vu que d'autres coureurs essayent de faire la jonction. Alex West qui est en train de se diriger vers la ligne. Va-t-il tenir à moins que Connell revienne? Connell est en train de revenir. Connell qui va peut-être le sauter sur la ligne. Attention, la victoire de Tim Connell. Incroyable! La victoire de Tim Connell sur la ligne. Lui qui est resté discret pendant toute la course et qui a attendu son heure. Bravo à lui.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام متابعينا في كل مكان، أهلا وسهلا بكم مع الانطلاقات الأربعة والفئات الأربعة. الفئة باللون الأحمر، الفئة الرابعة والفئة الثالثة بالأزرق، والفئة الثانية باللون الأخضر، والأولى باللون الأصفر. حياك الله معنا في هذا التحدي ولهذا اليوم. إذن أبو عامر من دولة الإمارات مرتديا قميص مايوش بالصورة الحقيقية، وهذه تحية لكم في مقدمة السباق. وأيضا يتحرك هنا اس برافو يا اس. نعم، توقيت مناسب للبطل اس حاليا. نعم، انه يتجه الان في عمليه الهجوم.
الان ومحاوله من اللاعب مستر اكس 100 للذهاب بمفرده الى اللعب في الامام. كان ويلفريد خلفه. مستر اكس 100 الان يقترب كثيرا من فيليب جريفز، ثانيتين فقط اقل من 100 متر.
ويلا يا نجم، ينطلق الان، يرفع السرعه، يوصل عمليه سبرنت الى 400 واط. ابو عامر يحاول ان يستغل النزول، هذا في نزول الان شوي تسارع عالي، اكسلريشن ممتاز يا ابو عامر. نعم، ابو عامر ينطلق الان هنا من الامارات في واحده من اهم واقوى التحديات. نعم انه ينطلق الان في هذه الصورة، يحاول ان يلتحق، انه يقترب، انه اقل من 5 ثواني، ولكن حذاري الان معاه خلفه كام ويلفيلد، واحد من الدراجين الاقوياء. يلا يا ابو عامر الان هنا الصوره معك يا ابو عامر، الان ينطلق في هذه اللحظات. برافو يا ابو عامر، برافو وبرافو يا نجم، برافو. نعم سوف ينطلق الان، سوف يصل النبض 180. والله نجم، والله قدها. شوف لا يوجد مجال للمنافسة، ستيفان فاليست هو بطلا لتلك المنافسة. نعم انه بطل هذه الفئة الاولى هنا في تل مرعب. ستيفان فاليست وفوز محقق.
So hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, to qualifier race number 4 here in the studio. My name is Matt Payne. I am here solo. If you haven't seen the women's show, then Emma Martin, the usual co-host of the show, is currently on international duty for the UCI at the Paracycling Road World Championships, the very first female lead commentator for that. Very proud to say that she's there for a big long stretch, bringing all the action from the championships. And of course, the Road Championships sponsored by MyWhoosh, a UCI partner for 2024, 25 and 26. So whilst Emma is over in Zurich, we're going to head across to Australia, to Wollongong. It's been a little while since we've been down under and headed to Wollongong, but it's a very familiar route to many because the circuit has been used so many times over the years for the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Essentially, what we have is 3 sets of climbs. We finish on the 3rd time up the Wollongong climb, but the race route itself is rarely flat. From the Pens, that is the flattest section of route until we head out onto our first climb, up and over that, and then through the Beach City Sprint. The undulations continue into the climb. 2-stage climb. First part, 10%. Second part of the climb goes to 17% steep at the start and finish of that second part of the climb. Over the top, a little kicker behind the summit means that a little chance to get back on again if the riders are in very close attention, and then a drop down. Now, groups can be brought back. We see leaders being brought back into the chasing group. We see people being dropped. It is a really dynamic and active race route. The climbs coming, the first climb at 9.7k, the second climb 26.3, and then that very final climb coming just before the run into the finish. As usual, 4 race groups. Category here we have categories 4, 3, 2, and 1. Category 4 in red, 3 in blue, 2 in green, and category 1 in yellow. 5 minutes between categories 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 10 minutes between categories 2 and 3. It'll all become evident if you've not seen it before as we go into the race start. Let's go down to our teams. First of all, in category 4, the Level Avengers, Russinick, Rooney, Brito and Francis. The Level Up Racing, Fielder and Warren. Mighty Ducks, they've got the full 5 complement of Toretto, Calderon, Kutab, Kriwanos, Newman. And we also have the team from Spinergy, 4 riders, Datsun, Mokhtari, Atruba and Jacob Bonus. The Anzacs, they've got 5 riders, McMurtry, Winfield, Cridland, Calverho, Dadson. And upcycled 4 riders, Naska, Schoberg, Lloyd and Mayard. They are just part of the 44 riders making up category 4 on the race start. 186 riders on the start list. Our first riders away, though, are category 4, who hit the race start. Away they go, and this absolutely critical to be in the group. Now, if you've not seen any of the Sunday race clubs, the riders generally go off like an absolute loon. However, and it is a big however, it does tend to settle down pretty quickly when we've got a really tough race route. However, like all things, there's exceptions to the rule. This is flat until we go on to that first climb that comes in just over a K and a half into this race route. And that is going to be really critical because it does give a little bit of a chance for people to get on, but you've got to be close. You can't hesitate too much going out of the pack. Just in with Jackson Russinek in here. So we'll run through those team riders. Other riders to watch out for other than our team riders. Well, Casagrande's on good form at the moment. Drama going well. Kalangad looking very strong as well. We've got Gaviria Leonardo in here. That could be Peng U's day from Miramar. A real big list of nations represented from pretty much every continent as well. Burma was on good, strong climbing form. And today's course, in a lot of ways, is quite similar to the course that we saw in Tel Marib. Tel Marib has got a big climb to start off with, but then there's a couple of climbs after, and there's actually an uncategorized climb that is quite entertaining on the way through. If you want to hear a little chat back about last week's or this week's, don't forget that you can join the In the Ride podcast with Matt Smithson, who is down in the group here, and Cy Bradley as well. And they bring you the inside track on MyWhoosh each and every week. And I'm sure there'll be a new one recorded after this race as well. But really interesting when you look at the course that we use for Tel Marib and compare it to this. This has essentially 3 climbs, but there's very little rest in between, and that's very much like the Tel Marib. Very, very little flat ground. So a very similar course in lots of ways. But here in Wollongong, 3 major climbs of the Wollongong climb. Lots of climbing in between. The flat section is about to end, and we're about to hit climb number 1. And it is the climb up back off from the elevated roadway at the side of the coast onto the town section. So taking this right-hand turn, 2.5 minutes of racing already underneath the clock as we go in, and this kick here in with Jeff Rubin. He's living legend with his brand new skin suit there, saving himself 30 watts, I think it is, with that skin suit, because it is one of the new New Zealand Academy skin suits. Great to see Jeff resplendent in the iconic black with the silver feather on there. That Jeff needs to kick on, kick it. He's come up here. No strangers going uphill today, a lot shorter than he's ever resting. And we have seen other people now also Everest on the platforms. Are great to see lots of riders using the platform, whether that's for the live in-person workouts, whether it's the videos on demand, whether it is, of course, to go set themselves a challenge or come and race on the Sunday Race Club. We've got the classics as well. We've got some great team time trials, the elimination races. There's lots of great racing. So please do download the app. Jump onto mywhoosh.com. You can download on iOS, on Windows. You can download on your tablet, on your phone. Look at those minimum specs. Most people now with issues, it tends to be in the connection between them and the server, or there's something in the system. It's very rarely now that we have any issues at all with people getting the game wrong on that download. So guys, get on board, jump on board. Every single update, and there's lots of them, is improving the game. It's changing how the world looks, how it rides, how good the competition is, and it's improving all the time. So please do jump on board, come and join us, and come and get racing. You can be in Category 4, who are well into the course now, or with our Category 3 riders who are down in the start pen. Category 3, the first step in to the racing. They're captained in terms of their teams today. The Anzacs team, captained by Robert Edwards. The Aotearoa Alliance, well, Henry East, Nick Scolari, and Peter Connell are going to be representing them. And level racing, we've got the ever-present Luke Allport and Nicholas Hagland. But this is a big race field. 53 riders in that 186 rider total. Other riders to watch out for: Hassan Al-Ramethri, definitely worth a look. Alex West could again be kicking on here. Ben Kirk could be back on form. Justin Roy, this could suit him. Pino as well. Watch out for Nicholas Spratt. He's coming into great form at the moment. SS is flying. The return continues. Let's see who is going to take this out from the start. It's time to go racing in Category 3 in Wollongong. We're in with Patrick Karlstrom as we head out from this start. This big pack heading out. Huge amount of riders taking this left-hand turn here. And Karlstrom at 6.5 watts per kilo to be right up in the mix now. Spratt very quickly up to speed. Henry East. Now, this is a man who is coming back into form. Really interesting. Had a long chat with Henry a little while ago now. It's just as he changed jobs, and he actually moved into a new job. And his form dipped, I think, everything would be fair to say, after that. But now he's got into the job, and things are a little bit more balanced. then he's back and he's absolutely at the moment flying. Really, really strong riding by Ace at the moment, based in New Zealand, but coming from the Republic of South Africa. Is another Antipodean based rider, Nicholas Spratt, at the moment. On the front, Giuliano from the United States of America behind. Then it's Kirk, Wojciech, Marin, Allport and co there. That quick start, 700 metres covered from the start pen, has left a number of riders distanced already as we take this left-hand turn. 4 qualifiers this month because it is a 5 Sunday month. I always like 5 Sunday months. 5 races in a month. Fantastic. What more could you want? Remember, 2 qualifiers to go into our finals next week. So our riders, a number of riders already having qualified. Some of those riders deciding that this week will be time to take a rest, but at race field, they're making the way up on climb at the moment. So we're going to just watch them come on to climb number 1. 186 riders, big race of field. Lots of riders wanting to use this as their qualifier. Lots of them just wanting to be in the hunt for prizes. Remember, top 5 riders are in the hunt for the prizes. So going to be really key today. Let's see who is going to take this out. Over the top of the first climb, those distance riders, that gap increasing as we see a push on the front. Who would it be? But the one and only Luke Allport. Now, there is a new verb in the Oxford English Dictionary. Some of this may not be true, which is to Allport, and that is the verb to go off the front. I'm waiting for this to come up in the term of cycling reference terms on the MyWhoosh Instagram feed. You can follow on at MyWhoosh. To Allport is to take a run off the front of the group by accelerating away and putting in an early attack and to almost teleport your way through. Now, it's not quite teleporting, so it is Allporting. And Luke Allport is the past master who's put his name to it. And at the moment, he's in action. He's clear by 4 seconds of the group. This is an early push. It's early to go in the race, but he's going to make it hard. One day they're going to let him go, and they're going to not chase him as hard as they should do, and they're going to find they don't see him until the finishing line. It can be done. We've seen it done on occasion, not generally from this early, but you never ever know. So categories 4 and 3 out and away. Boo and Mer in action at the moment in the category 4, nicely tucked into this pack as they come in through the Beach City Sprint. Now, each of these sprint segments, which is essentially the City Beach Sprint 1, 2 and 3, because we're doing 3 runs through this, gets points. Each of those points counts towards the green jersey. That's the fastest time through the sprint, and you can see Brett McMurtry at the moment holding that fastest time. He is the rider with that jersey. He is the rider who's got the green skin suit on it. You can see the jersey to the right-hand side of your screen. You can see the time there, 23.806, top left-hand side of your screen. And what often happens, although there are no prizes for the sprint, it is a real trigger point in the action, and that's what we're really looking for. We're looking to see who's going to then take it on. You can see a number of riders who've been distanced. That gap has opened up because the big acceleration for the sprint then opens the gap. It moves out. Big groups can move quickly. Really interesting mix here. Horsley in here as well. Mokhtari in here. Kalangad in here. Zamiel Dadson in here. Gavira as well. Ola Warren in here. Ola Warren could be a rider to watch out for on this. Cost Florian Dromard in as well. So Bogren, Maillard, all looking very good. This is a nice moving pack. So not too fast, not stringing it out in one long line. Lots of people getting plenty of rest, taking it a little bit in turns at the front to push that pace on. Not going too hard as Oswaldo Gaviria just starts to stretch his legs a little bit quickly, answered by Xavier Maillard. Now Gaviria continues to push this little bit of a climb, 2.5% going to 3 as you come up this drag. If you've ridden this on MyWhoosh, you'll know this is a drag. Xavier Maillard, a regular rider on the platform, rider who we saw in action in the MyWhoosh Championship, the $1 million prize fund championship that was 7 stages over the 8 days of action. take a look back. If you subscribe to the channel, you get notified when we go live. And good to see Xavier in action once again, wearing that MyWhoosh jersey. And he was really strong in the championship over those days, getting stronger and stronger as the week progressed. You can watch that back on the YouTube channel, all the videos of all the racing in there. It's a great way to do your research. We use it a lot, obviously, for the commentary when we're looking back. Generally, before we do every show, we have a little watch back of the last time we were on the course, what happened, how the racing progressed, and of course add that to the memory banks and the stats and the figures and the databases, etc. And then hopefully we're going to be able to tell you what's happening, what, where, why, and when in the race. At the moment, leading rider in category 3 off the front, Luke Allport's 4 seconds. It's still tenuous. He's there. We're at 4.3k, and now we're starting to see a little move across. Pablo Popovic, veteran of this platform, right on the move here. He's looking to get across the gap here. He's the rider just trying to bridge across to Allport. Popovic of Brazil, a real experienced rider. Actually, have ridden on the platform a long time ago when Pablo Popovic was on No Way Could I Hold His Wheel. Super strong rider, and good to see him back and racing once again in the mix here. It's good to see Carlos Ramirez in here, Ryan Dummer in here, Tim Connell. Could it be Connell's day today? It's a real mix of riders. One of the great things that we do on the Sunday Race Club, and great from the production team to jump in. We've got Carlos Roberto Ramirez Cardona down out of the saddle there, just on the left-hand side of your screen. Looking good at the moment. Really is continuing to kick on as he continues to push here. Sits back down again, just using the balance as he moves on. Was up and over the front of this race, so he's stretching again. So we're just starting to see action. We're just starting to see the stretch coming on. A quick reminder for you. These riders at the moment at 5.2k. Well, they have not yet reached the first of our sprint sections where we saw category 4 go through. And already this race is being set alight. Round this right-hand turn, into the segment we go. Big move by SS. He's going to try and sprint across and get onto the wheels of these riders in front. This could be really beneficial. It should get him the skin suit if he's going quick enough. He should get into that draft, but it is also the opportunity potentially to go on a breakaway with those leading riders. He's going to make his way up, but I think the entire group behind him are chasing. Here comes the rest of the group here. Hagland coming through strong. Could well be Hagland's got a faster time coming in a little bit behind. Let's take a little bit of a look at the numbers at the moment. So category 3, well, they are behind the category 4 riders, and just seeing a move come through. Now we get it updated. Hagland, indeed. Celery make the move. So he saw SS go from what was effectively the front of the bunch, trying to get across. Hagland came from the back, sprinted through using the draft of the group, and then catapulted himself off the front. He's continuing this move that saw him put a 20.011 sprint in. He's kicking still at 5 watts per kilo. He's on the attack. So category 4, most of the leaders all together approaching the climb very shortly. Category 3 through the sprint. Category 2 lined up at our race start. The Category 2 race field, well, they are 46 riders strong. The Al Wathba QTR squad of Nuki and Alcase up against the Goats team. Kayan as well as Bjarhead. So both Kayan brothers, Burke and Kayan and Jonas Bjarhead. Level NSA Racing represented by Rushmer and Rimborg. The Werewolves, MyWhoosh Werewolves by Theme Graves and Walter. We've got the UAE clan team as always, Mr. X100, the UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al Tanaji as Zed Hamden, also in that Falcon squad. The What's Up squad, Walter Clays, watch out for Rule 5's Heaney and Harvey. Riders away in Category 2. Heading out from the start here. This is going to be really critical. They've got to make sure that they get this dialed. If they don't get this dialed and they don't get away smoothly, you're in trouble. But Wojciech Galuska, wow, this is an interesting move. 7 watts per kilo out from the start here. Not what I would be doing, but You never ever know. It could well make a big difference. Let's see if he can get this dial. Can he make this move? Is anybody going to go with him? Really strong move off the front here. Galuska, when he first joined in Category 4, he was riding really strongly. He moved through into Category 3. He's now moved to Category 2. A rider to watch. His progression has been really impressive over the last few months. So looking strong as he opens up the gap. Just back with the pack, in with Mohammed Al-Qais. Al-Qais, part of the Al-Wathba QTR squad, and looking like he's content to sit in this bunch as they give 8 seconds to Galuska. Now, it is a decent-sized gap and growing at the moment, but if everybody holds their nerve, nobody chases right now, it's a doomed move by Galuska, because to stay clear for the whole race distance, apart from being a phenomenal performance, it's just not going to be possible because of the way that the draft is, because how close Category 2 is. It's going to be difficult, it's, if not impossible. So our riders up and away, looking like they are doing a great job of staying clear. At the moment, it's our leader, but now Milostic is the first one to blink. He's the first one to chase. He comes at 6.5 watts per kilo. We can see the rider in front. He's going to make this climb long for him. No peace to Milostic, not wanting to let Galuska go, not wanting to leave him clear on that front. Can he get him back? Oh, he can indeed. It's going to come very, very quickly, as is Al-Qais. Galuska just up the road round this corner. Milostic's going to see him. This is Galuska. We're going to look back from Galuska. Here comes the bunch round the corner. They go behind him. And look at them. They're across the road. This is a big group behind. It's a bit like when you're in the boat and Jaws was coming up behind you in the film. You know, just like dum 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 dum, boom, and they've got you, because it's just that inevitability of it. They're just coming back. You can't have class riders like Olivier Simmons in this group. Milostic, Dan, Peterson, Tika, and Howeiler. They're strong riders. They're going to fight. They're going to be chasing. They're not going to let anybody go clear here. Really good move here. Simmons coming across towards Galuska, Milostic doing the same. They're all behind, and Olivier Simmons stretching his legs out here, looking pretty cool, calm and collected at the moment. None of our regulars here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Just taking a quick look at him. He's looking really strong at the moment, just out the saddle, tapping that rhythm out. Not forcing it round as well. So really dancing on those pedals, you can see, just able to take a look across, really relaxed, really fluid there. Great style from Simmons, just not just forcing it round, not churning a big gear, just dancing on those pedals and keeping that power down, 6 watts per kilo. He's not exactly tiptoeing his way through this. It really is a powerful performance by him. Category 2, 2.5k into the race route. Category 4, our leaders onto the climb. Now you can see at the moment Brian White, Ola Warren, Matt Smith chasing them. So 2 riders at the front, White and Warren behind, Smith and Rooney, Catabono, Bogran and co. Bigger group chasing. Category 3 hitting the climb. Category 1 down in the pen. Our final group away. The pack with 43 riders, right, with some big teams in here. The Alpha Jaw squad, the squad to beat: Turek, Talbot, Vajasin, Kaminsky and Jones. All 5 riders in there. Hard to guard with 4 riders: Osborne, Knudsen, Safrizadi and Van Els. The Iceman who struck harder like the Iceberg did. He's doing a fantastic job. And can he do it again? The Wenger boys, Arnie Jacobs, Ricardo Panizza and Vidal Mayer. Will the Wenger boys be dancing their way to the finish? It's time to go racing. The final race start in the men's race. Qualifier race number 4. Panizza ready to go. Here we are. Away they go. Time is ticking. These riders kicking the way out from the start pens. Right hand turn right again and on to the course. And heading out towards that first climb, in with Said Safrazedi, one of our regular riders, really strong. You could never discount him from a top 5 position. Big French contingent here today as well. Really interesting to see that. We've seen more and more French riders on board the platform. Our colleague James, of course, bring the French commentary. So if your first language is French or Arabic, don't forget that we've got the commentary teams bringing you the action in those languages as well as in English. We'd love you to stay with us, of course. Our commentary coming to you from Full Speed Event Studios. Here's myself, Matt Payne. Normally joined by Emma Martin, and if you did miss the start of the show, Emma on duty in Zurich, where MyWhoosh have a fantastic stand. Got big presence there, and I know Simon Bradley literally at the airport or in mid-flight as we speak, heading out to Zurich to those road championships. So do give them a shout if you're heading out there, if you're going to be at those road championships. We do have regular riders who we see racing out there. We'll highlight 1 or 2 of those because they're going to be in competition during the next week. But at the moment, we're in Category 3, and no surprises. SS on the attack again. This ever-aggressive, this ever-strong rider at the moment pushing on. Really is making his way back into the form that we saw of old, where he's up at the front and challenging in Category 1. He's on his way back. The comeback continues for SS. And I'll tell you something, he's kicking 7 watts per kilo up here. Vodjacek 7.5, starting to close down on the wheels here. He's going to try and bridge across. This is the steep section number 2. You can see that gradient top right hand side of your screen just starting to relent slightly at the moment. SS making the most of that and pushing on over the top here, only a second back, but you can see the group behind it is still a big long train of riders on the ride, on the race, chasing up this climb. The left hand side of your screen, the radar view. That radar view absolutely key for our riders, because that gives you a real indication of what's happening. If it's one disc or a very close disc, you know it's all together. If it's a long line, then you know the pressure is on. It's certainly on in Category 3, and it's definitely on in Category 1. Attacked by Mikhail Kaminsky, the man who has got the fastest time on this course. He set the fastest time ever on this course, 1 hour 4 minutes 31 seconds of racing. He did that in our finals in March. He has got company with Michael Knudsen up there. Interestingly, Knudsen not in the top 5 times on this course. The fastest times, Kaminsky, Osborne, Nair, Safazadi and Jacobs. They're our fastest 5 riders in Category 1. In Category 2, well, it's Mendako, it's been Dati, Burkayan, Van He and Graves. Category 3, Kochkov, Moreno and East, Mesa and Mercedes. Then Category 4, Neville Ross actually appears twice in the top 5. Andrew Neville Ross progressing his way up through the race categories. Goodall, Cowan and Tortoretto, your top 5 overall. At the moment, though, Mikhail Kaminsky on the attack, Van Elst on his wheel, Jones is there, Vajassin is there. The rest of the group, don't be deceived by the screens. Look at the radar. Long line behind. They're not far behind. The gap is not big enough to show on the radar. It's not all over for that group. And you can just see, although it looked like that group have managed to pull clear, they've not managed to make it stick. And Knudsen has gone back. So has Kaminsky. But the leading group of riders, they're out on course. These are the leaders in Category 1. They are the top of the tree in terms of racing. And last week, Stefan Van Els realised the promise that he has been showing for so long. Van Elst has been nicknamed by somebody not very far from me, in fact, sat right in my seat, as the Iceman, because he's super cool. You can see him sat there on the bike. Great ride by him last week, well deserved. He's been knocking on the door of victory for so long, absolutely nailing it. Now, can he do the same here? It is a similar course. He's great at lots of different things. He can climb, he can sprint, he can attack, he can respond, he can chase, and because of the all-round skill, a real ruler, it's very, very difficult to beat. What he's maybe like before has been that last little bit that's taken him clear of the real specialist, either a specialist sprinter on a sprint race or a specialist climber on a climb race. But when we've got a bit of everything, which we have here today, definitely going to play into his hands. One man who will have something to say about that is Hayden Pucker. Hayden Pucker just in here, the man who has put himself firmly in the driving seat of being one of the big hot favourites for the World Championships. Now, Hayden Pucker is a self-professed lover of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. If you want to hear what he's got to say about it, well, there's a new episode of the Velo Viewer podcast out where I was standing in once again for Emma Martin, because Emma was got stuck late in a pre-production meeting, so a little bit of short notice, like 2 minutes. I got the call to step in, and it was an absolute pleasure to join Chris Schwenker with Hayden Pucker. Hayden is an absolute lover of the Sunday Race Club. He's here each and every week. Have a listen. You can get hold of that wherever you get your podcast from. Lionel Vujassin was on the Inside the Ride podcast, another of our really regular riders. He's here pretty much every week. Vujassin, for a long time, was the rider to beat, but I think there's been a little bit of a shift in his training, a little bit of a shift in his focus, a little bit of a cycling through the training program, because you can't train full on all year round. You can't race full on all year round. He did the job nicely to get in and through those semi-finals. He's going to be focusing on those finals in Abu Dhabi at the end of October. Yes, you can go and join in. Tickets are available. You can get in touch with the team at MyWhoosh for those. You can get them in person if you're down in the UAE. It's going to be an in-person final. 20 qualifiers from the public qualifiers, potentially 4 wildcards in each of our genders. So it'll be 24 men, 24 women maximum in those finals, in person in the stadium. It's going to be an absolute blast of a race. That's on the Saturday. And then we have the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club on, guess when? On the Sunday as well. So there's, if you're not in those final, there's a chance for you to get out and race on the Sunday at the top level with all of your fellow competitors being verified as always on the Sunday Race Club. Now, SS on the attack. We saw him go up and over the top of the climb solo, leading out the category 3. His gap at the moment 20 seconds back to the chasing group of Vujicic, Sprat, Squilari. Then it's another 3 seconds back, I think, to Edwards and Ramirez and Popovic. Those groups that were set as they went over the top of the climb for the first time look like they're set in, but SS at the moment going around Vink corner, named after Vink, putting a blistering attack and soloed away for a lap plus from this point on the course. Great ride by him at that point, and the Vink overpasses. It's the spiralling ascent that goes anti-clockwise round a long left-hand turn, takes you through a full 270 degrees to go right the way from underneath over the top. SS doing that. He's still clear in category 3. Category 2, well, they are behind, and with that 10-minute delay between Category 3 and 2, that difference in start time, Category 2, they're heading into the climb. 9.3k cover. They know that only a few hundred meters time, they're going to go from this descent. It levels, and then it starts to go uphill, and it won't stop until you've finished part 1 of the climb. You go down, and then you've got the longer, steeper section to follow. A real mean profile of the hill here. It's going to test our riders. 9.5k. They're climbing just to get into the banner at the moment, and this is where it's going to count. Who's going to go? Is Alcase going to go? Are we going to see Waltz go? Hernandez, Largo maybe. Rushman right in contention. Tweakers right up here as well. Alcase and Gombe, Howeiler, Krasnich, Milostic. This is going to be very interesting. Who fancies their chances today? It's a massive pack of riders. Peter Milostic right up with Galuska on the front. Galuska's been active. He's been aggressive. They're all trying to answer this now. Che Howeiler just tucked into this group in the pack as well. This is going to be about staying in contention on lap 1. On the first time up this climb. Lose the wheels now. you're going to be in trouble for the rest of the race. You're going to have to chase. Che Hoala out of the saddle here. Another of our regular competitors on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. And Che, really strong rider. You can see stamping down on those pedals, holding on to those, making sure he gets the maximum power in and through. All the riders going into the red zone with those red chevrons that are appearing. And you can see the effort written on Che's face there. Staying focused, making it hurt, making everybody suffer. One rider off the back now from this big group, so that's one out of the way. Will they be able to get on? Well, we're coming up to the top of the first part of the first time of the Wollongong climb. This will be critical. 1.9k climb as you go up the climb. It is tough though, because you've got just over 100 meters of elevation. And remember, the average gradient is absolutely immaterial here. It's about the peak gradients, 10% on that first part, 17% on the second part. So the pack go over the top. The riders who've been dropped, they're not going to get back on. Matthias Van, he's not in and amongst them. You can see very quickly spinning around. Definitely a rider to watch on this course. Real punchy rider. You're really going to suit him. It goes well on this course as well. Be interesting to see, because in category 2 he's got the 4th fastest time. Reminder, fastest time in category 2, Mendakowicz, Bendati, Khan, Burkhan that is, and Van, he and Graves. In category 1, fastest times are Kaminsky, Osborne, Nair, Safrazadi and Jacobs. Knudsen not in those top 5, but this is a course that he's done well on in the past. Whether he's got that explosive power, we'll see. Jason Osborne, the 2nd fastest time in this group, and Kaminsky in there. Interesting, Linda Milostic in there. Now, it's a dangerous man to take into the finish. I think they're going to want to try and shed him. He's got a fantastic kick, a real good fast twitch on him. Will he be able to answer the power of the rest of the riders? We'll find out. This really good practice, good training. It's a great course prior to the Worlds. It's a great way to hone your form prior to the eSports Cycling World Championships. That's going to be coming up at the end of October. We're still in September. We still got the finals to come next week in the Sunday Race Club, so plenty of time to get a few more watts in the bank, to build up that power, to build up the speed, and to be able to get yourself right in touch with the leaders. Now, going up on to the climb, Vidal Mayer on the attack in the green skin suit. Don't be fooled. That is the points leader in the sprints. He's going long here, the Norwegian, trying to open up a little bit of a gap to that group. Maybe he's sliding room. Maybe that he's thinking, if I go long, I could really stretch this out. He's chasing now Batty just in front in category 2. He's going to see a Vidal Mayer coming very, very fast. Behind him, Ollie Jones, along with Booker, the men of the semi-final. Jones taking that victory. I mean, absolutely flying. Jones, I think you've got to say, could well be one of the other runners that we would expect to see in that very leading group if it does come down to a lead group. But remember, in our finals, you've got three of our stages, not just 2 as we saw in our semi-finals. That would change complexion, that sprint stage coming in. Now, as we come up to the top, you can see the riders going through the polka dot pattern for the end of the climb section, which finishes before we get to the top of the climb. So it's really key to remember that there are 200 meters separating the polka dot banner from the summit and the race finish. When we come into the finish, that's the UCI banner that category 2 are about to see. It's the polka dot banner that category 1 are about to see. They're about to enter the climb as the category 2 leaders. Mohamed El Alami at the moment right up in this pack, coming up towards the top, leading them out. El Alami out of the saddle, nicely done as he goes over. Will he be rewarded with the polka dot skin suit, the fastest time? It's being calculated. We're going to see where that goes. It may well have come further down the pack. It has. So, leading over the top is not always the fastest in terms of the time through the climb. But Alami, the first rider over the top in a safe place. He knows that now all he needs to do is make sure that he's got the speed to stay with this group on the descent. He's shown that he's got the legs on the climb. Can he make it count on ascent number 2 and ascent number 3? So Mohamed El Alami in the pack. Krasnich, Patterson, Simmons and Clays. Interesting, Simmons taking the polka dot skin suit as well as the green skin suit of the sprints, as well as that polka dot of the climbs. So clearly on form. Is that an indication that Olivier Simmons is the man to watch as they go up and over the climb? Going to be very interesting to see whether he's able to do that. Fastest time up the climb at the moment, though, overall, actually is category 3, and that is SS. Will the category 1 riders beat it? Have to say the chances are they will. They power, the pace, the speed of these riders. So many specialists at esports, so many of the top riders in the world here and racing. Daniel Turek of the Alpha Jaw squad, his teammates David Tolbert, Lionel Vajassin, Mikhail Kaminsky and Ollie Jones, a real who's who of esports racing. Here they come on to the climb. This is part 2 of the first ascent. They have already dropped a number of riders, 7 seconds back to Janaday, to Bengston, to Bjorkland and co. But this group now, they're going to want to shed a few more riders. The chasing group behind are going to make contact with the back of the pack. They do. They make contact, which means that now this is one big group. How long will it stay like that? Not long is the answer. Already those people dropped on part 1 have been dropped on part 2 again. And expect to see a culling of riders here who are in contention. Those riders, they've got to keep fighting. Good to see Yunsei Honda, another great rider who we see racing on the club time and time again. He's becoming a real regular here. The Japanese rider out the saddles, kicking down on those pedals. Honda trying to stay with me. Interesting. Pucker is in this region as well. So is me. They're wanting to get back in touch, and the two riders there chasing Honda and Pucker wanting to get back on. At the front though, it's Mikhail Kaminsky who's making it hard. He's the rider who's stretching this out. Mikhail Kaminsky, fastest rider on this course historically. Well, he's got a little bit of a gap. It's only a second, but you can see on your screen it's about 15 meters or so to the chasing riders. If he's not taken out by the spectators' flags on the climb, he's going to set the fastest time up here, surely. Kaminsky continues to kick. He's going to come underneath that polka dot banner. Will he be in the jersey? He should be initially, but can he hold on to it? The rest of the riders come. Kaminsky's got it for now. So at the first ascent of the climb, he's got the polka dot. It's an indicator he's climbing well, but he also sets the fastest time overall. The leading group of riders, 15 riders strong, the top 10 on your screens because they are the top 10 overall. 3 minutes 35.526 seconds. Mikhail Kaminsky of the Alpha Jaws squad, well, he's got the fastest time. But look who is behind him. Osborne, Jones, Paradis and Safrazadi in the top 5. Pucker, Knudsen, Justin Tolbert and Van Elslas with Twitter in the top 10. You've got some very strong riders in that group. Milostic in here, Shuren in here. You've got Panitsa in there, Zach Nair in the group as well. Do not discount any of these riders. Over the top they go. This group is together. They've done the dip. This is the second little kicker. On the second part, you go off the main summit, you drop, and then you kick back over here. And that is your only chance really to get on. Mikhail Kaminsky just taking a breath there. You can see the effort. That's not often it looks like Mikhail Kaminsky's been trying hard, but he's definitely put the effort in up there. He's shed a few of the riders. He's got it down to 15 or so in the leading group. Mikhail Kaminsky, the polka dot jersey wearer, the man with the fastest time. Will he beat 1 hour, 4 minutes, 31 seconds, the time set in the finals? Could well be. You can see he's just taking that break, just taking a rest, making sure that what he's doing is getting that heart rate down. At the moment, it's 155 and falling like an absolute stone at the moment. He's down to 150 now because he's bringing it down, resting, recovering. The fitter you are, the faster your heart rate will drop. So at the moment, down to 145, 10 beats in the time we've literally been talking about heart rate. That is incredible. He's dropped it really low. It's still continuing to fall here. Lower it goes, the more capacity you've got to then build it back up again. The less you're burning energy on the way through. Resting almost as important as attacking on this course. Now, in with SS, he's pulled clear a leading group. He's been joined here. He's been grabbed back by Jakub Vajocek, by Nicholas Spratt, and by Nick Squilari. So Spratt, Squilari, Vajocek, and SS They are your leaders at the moment, and if you look behind, there's nobody in sight. Meanwhile, Category 2, Andrew Downey on the attack, Olivier Simmons chasing. Right behind, though, long train of riders are going down past those rider pens, so they've come round and they've completed one full lap. Downey on the move, just up at the front. Van Hees, Simmons, Graves, a spinner, Carradine and Bendetti really continuing to push in behind. So one lap covered. This is a flatter section. On that descent and into this flat section, normally that is the time where it's time to take a drink, time to put on board some fuel, time to get yourself a little bit of fluids, and to make sure that you get yourself refreshed. Normally, this is the point at which I'd be taking a drink and then I'd be doing the talking. It's not happening at the moment, but I'm going to take a quick drink. Make sure you grab something. I'll be back with you shortly. Mike, he's certainly warm there, the fan going. I hope he's had a drink as well. Mine was just water. I hope he's got something isotonic and working, some fluids on board. So making sure he's got those salts topped up. He's running around now into that climb. Looking good there. We're just going back into Category 1 though, because this is coming into the Vink Flyer. We're going to get a good look at this now. So you come in, you take the left-hand turn, you've done a long downhill. This is the first real steep kicker, and anybody who's ridden regularly will tell you it's very often at the end of a long downhill when your legs are turned to jelly. Kaminsky on the attack here, really putting down the power. He's opened up a gap at the front of this, and the rest of this group are having to respond. Anybody chasing now is going to find this hard because the gap will open. Kaminsky has powered the pace up. The leading group is big. It's going to go with him here. Knudsen the first to chase. Then Vajashin, Osborne, Safran, Zadie, Paradines and Van Elst. That's the train that are going to come up behind him. That has just accelerated that whole group up to speed. Kicking over the top into that descent, take that speed along the flat. It's another way also of utilizing free speed. Free speed is when you go into a downhill. So you go in a downhill, and there's a couple of ways that you maybe going to take that. You're going to go carry lots of momentum into the downhill and go through that downhill by kicking into the downhill. And then that continues. That momentum carries onwards. Free speed can be about making sure you're as aero as possible. It could be about making sure that you use a draft as much as possible. Kaminsky making the most of that to attack, power over the top, and then free speed on that downhill into this relatively flat section. This is that long run down past the pens. With him for company at the moment, Michael Knudsen, who is covering pretty much every move that goes at the moment. So clearly Michael Knudsen feeling on form, feeling frisky, feeling ready to attack, to cover the moves. Now Jason Osborne starts to come across the gap. He's kicking across at 6.5 watts per kilo. Van Elst starts to move through the group. He doesn't want to let this go. He's at 5.8 now, 6.2. So one by one, the riders come up, then the main pack is going to follow. Every time they go chasing, that's leaving the riders behind who are in trouble, in a not in a great position. You can see at the moment, good ride here, you can see Jose Rodriguez trying to stay with this group. Behind, though, Vidal Mayer, this is the first of our chasers. So Mayer, Panizza and Nair are the three riders that go in and through. Congratulations on Zach Nair. We've had the finalists announced for those finals from the semi-finals, the top 20 riders. And Zach Nair initially not on that 20, into the 20. Because of issues with one rider, technical issues rather than anything else, but it does mean that Zach Ness has made his way in through, and he's going to be in the finals in October. Great to see him in the pack. As we go to the Category 4 right-hand side, Category 3 left-hand side, two groups on the road. Warren White In that leading group also Smithson, so 3 riders in category 4, right hand side, left hand side of your screen, the leaders in category 3. This is looking like we've still got SS, Wojciech, Squilari and Spratt, the 4 riders. They're just going into the climb, into the second ascent of the Wollongong climb. Remember, we're going to finish on this next time around. Smithson and Co. in category 4 on the front of the race here. Now, one of the great things about MyWhoosh is that you see the people who make the decisions, who are there making the games happen, out and ride it regularly. If you think you see them regularly on Sunday Race Club, that's nothing compared to the kilometres they rack up behind the scenes. So people like Rod Loxley, Cy Bradley, Matt Smithson and Co. All working hard behind the scenes and actually out and racing and regularly on the platform, checking how everything works, getting the feel for it. It's all very well watching it, but you need to ride it to really get a feel. And they're walking the walk as well as talking the talk, as the saying goes, or in this case, pedaling the pedal, as well as making the platform tick. So great to see him in there and making sure that they know exactly how it feels. Smithson, of course, this is pretty much a home course for him, originally from Australia. He's ridden this out in and around regularly. In fact, Parramatta Park is Matt Smithson's favourite home course, which is one of the courses you could ride. Jump on board MyWhoosh, download the program, download the app on iOS, PC, on your tablet, on your phone. Jump on board, mirror it up to a big screen, put it on your big PC, make sure you check it out, make sure that you get a look at it and get on and ride. We've got so many great programs, well over 700 coaching programs, lots of live sessions that are taking place week in, week out. Just go onto the homepage for those. They'll make you quicker, they'll make you faster. These 3, I'm not sure they need a coaching session. They're absolutely flying and putting a case of being ready for being moved up, I think, because Smithson, White and Warren at the moment 1 minute clear of the chasers behind. This is the sort of course that really will suit a punchy rider, a rider who can kick. Ola Warren, they said today could be his day. He's looking very, very good at the moment in that green skin suit. He's got the polka dot skin suit as well. They're coming up towards the summit, so those 3 are going to be away. In category 3, looks like SS just being pulled back here in the polka dot skin suit. Wojciech, Scolari and Spratt, he was just squeezing on at the front of that group. And I think we're going to see these riders going to be pushing here. Spratt distance from Squilari's group, though. So Squilari, Wojciech and SS distancing Nicholas Spratt. The gap has opened up at the moment. Squilari, the rider on the back here, SS on the front, Wojciech sandwiched in between. So this is the first part of the second section of the climb. Behind them, you can see the leaders in category 3 are on their way. So you're going to see the riders on the way. The leaders in category 4 are almost at the summit, because the chasers behind on the way up. The category 3 leaders, they're picking them off. Iro Caladron being moved past here. Stephen Newman also being passed here on the way up. The next target is going to be Joshua Kalangad. In fact, there we go, through past Kalangag. They are working the way up. SS taking advantage of this slight confusion to come in through to make his way up and open a little bit more of a gap here. Drummond, Lenador, Gavira, Maillard are going to be the next riders who are going to see SS on their heels. He's climbing fantastically, and this surely is a warning to the rest of the riders in that leading group that you cannot tow SS onto this climb. He's climbing really well at the moment, out of the saddle here, opening up a gap behind, and you can see that Squilari has been distanced. Wojciech has been distanced. Spratt has been distanced. This is going to be interesting, the way that he's climbing. It's a real indicator. Should he have saved his powder and sat with that group a little bit longer, saved this towards the end? He's played his cards, he's showed them his strengths. That's a dangerous thing to do. Does he think he can solo to the finish? Well, our riders are confident, but that is going to be really confident. Great move by SS. He's put them all under pressure, but in making their legs hurt. He's shown them what he can do. He's closing in on Bouamur, who we saw on the highlights at the start of the rewinds at the start of the show. Bouamur is going to see him booze over the top of the climb here through the gantry. He's going to go. That's the UCI gantry. That's going to be the finish line next time round. 2 of the climbs complete. 1 more lap to go. You finish at the top of the climb. Next time around, Boo. No, he goes into the descent. You can see that gap really does open up. SS behind, chasing hard, trying to pull the gap down. Trying to pull the gap back. He really wants to close this down. Very, very tough stuff, though, to do so. Watching SS on this, resting, recovering, quick up as he goes over the top here, kicking down hard. Just saw over 8 watts per kilo as he went over the top, then eases as he went in between, another 8 watts per kilo, then just dropping down, just trying to keep that pace tapping along. You'll surely be thinking, can I get back to Burma? Behind Scolari, 11 seconds now, 12 seconds back. He's chasing hard. Categories 3 and 4 absolutely frantic. Category 1, well, at the moment, Kaminsky and Knudsen are holding off the chase behind. We saw them go on the move. We saw them go on the attack. I didn't think it would stay out this long, but it is. Kaminsky and Knudsen, that is a formidable duo. Kaminsky of Poland, Knudsen there of Denmark, continuing to push on. We're going to see if Osborne, Jones and Pucker, Paradians and co are going to bring them back. Will they leave it now? Here comes Osborne. Osborne puts in a cake. That's 9 watts per kilo we just saw come out. They're rolling at about 4.5. Osborne says enough is enough. I need to get across that move. If you're not going to work, I'm going to go. He's doing double the watts per kilo. He's going to go through this sprint surely with the fastest time through the sprint. This is a big move to get across. He's using the sprint. He's using the draft. He's using the opportunity to close the gap down. My goodness me, look at Osborne go. What has happened to Osborne? He's found a second win from somewhere. He's going to have bridged across virtually in the length of that sprint. He kicks in through the sprint. He makes his way onto the wheels of Knudsen and Kaminsky. 2 become 3. Jason Osborne is back in the hunt. And the group behind now, it's panic stations. Jones is at 10 watts per kilo here, trying to come back across. He now knows those 3 up the front. This move could stick. 2 is difficult, 3 is definitely possible. The fastest time set by Hagland in category 3. We saw him on the chase, matched by Osborne, also sprinting through there. Then it's Simmons and Knudsen and Kaminsky, a real mix of jerseys. The only jersey not represented is category 4 jersey, and that's a real indicator of the mix of riders. So Hagland at 20.322, Osborne 0.091 behind. Now, you can see here, Osborne has made the group across, but so has Jones behind them. You've got a real chase on, and there's a train of riders trying to get across. At the moment, Daniel Churek is in trouble here. So is the line of Vajassin. They are off the back of the main group. So Vajassin distance. Looks like Churek is distance. Paradians, the rider, the nearest rider to him, going to make contact with the group. Yes, he is. There they go. So all of a sudden, we've gone from having 2 leaders at the front in the space of a kilometre or so. We've gone down to having a much bigger pack because that big group behind has gone across ones and 2s, and it now means that the mass, the impetus is with the riders in front, and that now means that Churek and Vajassin now are in a very bad place, because if they want to get back in touch, they are going to have to pull out something special on climb number 2 of Wollongong. They've got to put that big kick in going up the climb. So in through, this is Churek. It's working hard, but not going flat out here. Is this a wise move by Churek? He's doing 6 watts per kilo. The front group have eased off a little bit here. Will he get a slightly easier run across? Instead of sprinting across, he's going to try and time trial his way across. That might be the better option, save him some energy when they come into the climb. Remember, category 2 set off behind the leaders in category 3, behind the leaders in category 4, all being chased by category 1. All these groups steadily coming together at the moment. The fastest group on the road at the moment are Category 1 from 2, then 3, then 4. So the leaders starting to come back together again. Whether they'll close them all down, remember this is a tough course. Will they be able to do so? Time will tell. On to the climb. Category 2 go now. Downey, 10 seconds up the road, being chased by Heaney, Harvey, Alami, Carradine and Khan. They got to get it over across here. Carradine out of the saddle. Another of our regulars on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Another regular that we jump in with. The sun shining in and down on Assad at the moment. Kicking over those pedals, making sure he's in contention, he's in that punch. This is a good course for Saad Carradine. We know he climbs well. It is a summit top finish, which always plays into the hands of those climbers, those people who can really climb. And these leading group really have to push now. They'll want to pull back Downey, but they'll also want to put other riders in trouble. Downey on the front, it's down to 4 seconds. Harvey, Krausnich, Walter, Carradine, Van He leading the charge behind. Big kick here by Downey again, just goes over the top of this. He's going to go in. He needs to carry momentum here. The big danger for Downey is if he goes over the top too slowly and the rest of the group behind, they all pick up speed. When they come past him, not only will they come past him, but he won't have the opportunity to kick on into the group and stay with them. So picking up the speed here really is the only option for Downey. He needs to keep that pace high. If the group comes back past, it's a bit like standing on a platform when the train comes through, because they're just going to go blast past and leave him spinning in the distance behind them, rather than him being able to jump on board. You've got to match that speed, and it's so difficult if you're solo over the top there and the group catch you. But Downey's done it. He's stayed clear. He's onto the climb. He's onto part 2. This is the steep and lower sections. Are we going to see another selection being made? Are we going to see this group come down anymore? Category 2 on part 2 on ascent number 2 of Wollongong. That's Category 2 right hand side, left hand side Category 1. Daniel Churek at the moment. Now look at this. From 0 to hero at the moment. He's going for this. He's gone off the front. He was just off the back. He's now off the front. He's got Said Safrazadi, who's just closed him down here. And the two of them just clear of Knudsen. Knudsen's been answering pretty much everything. But as we come on to the climb in Category 1, Said Safrazadi, Daniel Churek just jumping about. And looks like they've got a gap here of about 5 seconds going on to the climb. That's going to make life difficult for everybody else, because you can't let these two go. They're getting a head start on that climb. Here we go. This is going to be absolutely critical. Who responds first? Safrazadi, Churek off the front. Paradians, Knudsen, Kaminsky chasing. Now, Knudsen goes. He's been active all race long. 7 watts per kilo. 8 coming out from Osborne. We've got Jones going out. He now hits 8 watts per kilo. These riders are starting to realise they've got to start kicking onwards here. It is so hard to sit back, so hard not to chase everything that moves, not so hard to keep your energy for when it is needed. And that is what's really key. Ollie Jones in here is a past master of making sure he puts in decisive attacks when he puts the effort in. At the moment, sitting on this group, do not be surprised to see Ollie Jones put in an attack at the very top of part 2. Don't be surprised to see Jones put in a move when we come in to the finish, but you won't see him too much poking his nose out, going up onto the front, unless he really, really means it. So Jones making contact, Kaminsky, Pucker, Paradians in this group at the very front of the race. This is going to be a real interesting move over into the descent here. That's in Category 1. Category 2, leader on the climb, Alex Heaney, coming up to the summit here. So Heaney starting to stretch his legs out. Good to see Heaney in action here in Category 2. He's got the gap at the moment. It's a couple of seconds to be ahead to Carradine, to Howeiler, El Alami and Graves. And this is going to be the push over the top. The points are being allocated out. And it looks like Khan Kayan is picking up the polka dot jersey. The amassed points from the first and second ascent of that climb. Definitely telling as they come in over the top. Bjarhead right in this pack, looking strong. So Bjarhead out of the saddle in the pain cave there. The bike's racked in the background. Continues to push on the dehumidifiers, the air coolers, the fans are definitely in action, and definitely a man who's, I think, really suited to this course. Now, they're over the top and pushing. Category 1, they're on the way on the second part of the climb. They're just coming over this steep section, and Safrasedi, Kaminsky, Jones and Osborne with Knudsen, with Paradines behind, really squeezing. Kaminsky, though, big move. Big move. Look at this. Kaminsky's opening the gap. He's not gone at 10 watts per kilo. He went at 7-8 watts per kilo, but he's holding the power down. He's continuing to push. Now he eases off. He's waiting to see what the response is. So what he didn't do, he didn't just kick hard for half a second or 1 second at 10, 12 watts per kilo. He put a sustained surge in there to see who could answer that. The answer comes, well, pretty much all of the leading group. Knudsen at the moment is the rider in trouble. A couple of seconds off this group. He's been shed. He was answering all the moves early on, but at the moment losing ground on the way through. So the riders on the climb. This is going to be an interesting last couple of 100 meters. It's 200 meters from that polka dot banner into the finish. Here we go. Group on the climb. Will anybody put in an attack? Here comes the chaser. Knudsen's going to make contact. The climb results are up. Jones from Osborne, Paradines, Kaminsky, Knudsen, Safrasedi. Those are the 6 riders at the front of the racing category 1. Heaney's time still holding, but 34 seconds down on the time of Ollie Jones. This is going to be a really fun last lap. 1 lap to go for category 1 as they go over the top of the climb. They're chasing category 2. Heaney's time from Rule 5. They're really good time, but blown out of the water into the fastest times overall by the category 1 riders. So Mohammed El-Case on the climb. He's just tracking Daniel Turek and Hayden Pucker. They've lost time on this climb, this time in and around. So category 4 in with Matt Smith and currently having covered 38.1k. These are the leading group there. In with SS, leading group in category 3, 37.1k, 1.1k behind. Then a further 6 and a little bit k, 6.1k. It's category 2. South Carradine, who we're in with. Then we've got category 1 leaders. Well, they're on the descent off the climb, which means that they've covered in excess of 28.2k. I suspect they're well over the 30k marker as well at this stage, but they are working their way up towards the front of the race. The category 4 riders, remember, set off first. 5 minutes in front of category 3, 10 minutes between category 3 and category 2, then 5 minutes between category 2 and 1 minute from category 1 to category 4. When they started out, we had a time gap of 20 minutes. Now that time gap won't exist in anything like that form when we get in, and it could well be that category 3 catch category 4. Category 1, well, there is the potential for them to catch the leaders of category 2 as well. So the 4 groups of riders on your screen, and you can just see the riders in category 4 here just diving down in this little kicker for them coming up. Category 3 leaders not all that far behind them. They're going to see them any second now as they come up through. We can just see a real big push though as these riders make their way in and round. Categories 2, well, you can see leaders and chasers all over the road here as well. Going to be an interesting finish. Squilari with a Vodjacek with SS after having dropped the rider off the back. The 3 leaders in category 4 are about to get to the back wheel of Mark Dadson, Cadabona, Winfield, Horsley and co. They're the riders up in front. You can just see they're going to squeeze on down, and this is going to be the category 3 leaders sweeping up category 4. They'll have got everybody on the way through. So Nick Squalari, the rider we're in with here, part of this trio of riders, Wojciech, Squalari and SS, dropping Nicholas Spratt on that climb before. Spratt now sitting at 57 seconds. And look at the focus there on Nick Squalari. He's just tapping those pedals round, making sure he stays focused. So Squalari looking good, looking smooth. Just watching his body action there. Just a little bit of rock there. Just as his body pushes against that, keeping it stable. Here they come. They're going to make contact. This is going to be the next group being caught as they come in through. And that means that as this group gets caught, there are going to be 3 riders up the road. But there is gaps in those top 3 now. Brian White and Ola Warren are continuing onwards in the race lead. Matt Smithson, though, has been dropped 25 seconds down. He is currently ahead of SS, who's sitting about 1 minute 30 or a minute or so behind him. But this is going to be interesting to watch this catch come. SS got himself through all of the traffic, so has Wojciech. The rider that hasn't is Nick Squalari, and there is a little bit of air opening up between the leading 2 and the chaser in category 3. Let's go across to category 2 now. So at the moment, we're leading pack of riders. We've got Bjarhead, Downey, Van He Gobert. We've got Bert Kens, Carradine, and then it's a little bit of a gap back to Gombert, I think. But this group, this could pretty much stay together. I don't think this move by Bjarhead is going to keep it clear. They're just going to pull up onto the wheel of Phil Graves. Graves putting in a little bit of a dig, but not enough to stay clear on this section as they're running in and around in towards the little kicker here that takes them away from the pens from the start, that long start straight on the flat section. So your leaders on the road looking good at the moment. Remember, these riders are heading out on to their last run towards the climb. So category 4 on the way in through. The riders looking good. They've got one more ascent of the Wollongong climb to go. It's going to be really instrumental, that run into the finish. So we have got category 1 chasing hard at 33k. Category 4, they are at 41.5 kilometres. Let's put that into context of what's in front of our riders as they go in up towards the final climb. Let's show you and remind you of what this course profile is like. We set off on the left hand side of our screen through the City Beach Sprint and up the Wollongong climb for the first time, up there for the second time. And remember, when we run into the finish, we finish at the summit. The critical thing here is it's so little flat ground between the start of the climbing when you come out from those pens. So if you follow the drop down off the second climb, you can see there's a little tiny little point and then a flat section and then a bigger bump. That is the last really serious place where you've got any chance of recovery, where you can use the draft, and then you're into the finish. Now, we've seen the runners go up Wollongong and then regroup at the top. This is going to change this time round because nobody will want it to regroup at the top. They will all want this to be their run to the finish. At the moment, category 4 on the nearest riders. They're about 900 metres, 950 metres just in front of the category 3 leaders. Brian White and Ola Warren at the moment leading this out. So Warren on a good ride here with White at the front. Smithson still sat in 3rd place. He's sandwiched in between the group on your right and the group on your left. The left-hand group at the moment of 41.6k. They are chasing quite well here, and really interesting that They're mixed in the Category 3 with the Category 4 and just taking a little bit of a breather in there. So the Category 3 leaders, SS, the rider that we're tracking on the left of our screens. Brown White, the rider we're tracking on the right-hand side of our screens, coming in to the climb. Remember, this is a 45-kilometre race, 45.0, which means that as we go in 2.1k, we're going to see Brown White go over the top. The climb segment finishes, remember, 200 metres from the top. So the climb itself, well, that is going to be 1.9k in the segment, 2.1 in totality. Here we go, Brian White and Ola Warren onto the climb. The first riders in. They are 1 kilometre clear of the Category 3 leaders, and at the moment SS and Vojcek mixed in with this group of Category 4 riders. They're all chasing the leaders, sandwiched in between Matt Smithson, 46 seconds up the road from the riders on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, and about a minute behind the riders on the right-hand side of your screen. So he really is in no man's land going in towards the climb. Category 2, top right-hand side of your screen. This group of leaders at the moment, they are knocking chunks out of each other, and they're still not able to break this group up. They're at 36.8k. So whilst the race leader on the road, Brian White, has got less than 2k to go, well, we've got just around about, in fact, exactly 8k to go for the riders in Category 2. And even further for the riders in Category 1, they've got a pretty much 10k to the finish at the moment. Kaminsky leading again on the move on the front here. Very active, Michael Kaminsky, really wanted to make this race hard. He's got Knudsen right behind him, and Osborne, Jones, Safazadi, Paradisans. Those are the nearest riders to the race leader, Kaminsky, and they're going to make their way back up onto his wheel. We're not going to let him go off down the road. We know just how dangerous he is on the climb, and that is the critical thing. Now, left-hand side of your screen, SS in the polka dot skin suit with Vojcek currently on his heels. They've got 3 seconds to Squillari. Squillari pulled them back to some degree there. Managed to get a little bit closer, but we're now going on to the final climb with Category 3. They're on the base of Part 1. Going over the summit of Part 1 go the leaders in Category 4 who set off first. This is going to be interesting now. SS showed his pace, his speed on the climb. He showed that he had the speed to go away. Can he do it one more time? Because we finish at the top of the climb, the top of Part 2. And at the moment, SS absolutely dialing this. He's trying to close down on Matt Smithson. Smithson out of the saddle. Come on, Matt. This is where we can see just whether or not he's got the lace. We can't wait to hear how much this hurt when he's on the Inside the Ride, the MyWhoosh podcast that comes out to you. You can follow that on YouTube, and of course you can jump on board that wherever you get your podcasts from. Lots of great podcasts out there, all with different focuses, different information, different guests on there, a real multitude of ways to collect the inside track. Inside the Ride with Matt Smithson and Cy Bradley, remember. Now diving down here, SS in the descent, chasing hard. He's going to make contact with Smith, and he's going to go up onto the climb. That will leave him 2 riders in front of him. Vojcek is behind him. At the moment, it's an 8-second gap. Can he continue to push to the top? Will SS take away the overall victory? Smithson sprints to get on the wheels of SS. He knows a good climber when he sees one. He's got to get on those wheels fast, though, as they go on to the climb. Remember, the Part 2 is the toughest part of the climb. 17% at max. It's steep on the way in and onto the climb. It's steep at the end of the climb, and it isn't easy by any stretch of the imagination in between. The leaders on the road, White and Warren. White in the front in the red skin suit, white helmet. Warren in that green skin suit, both on the right-hand side of your screen. Vojcek and SS, left-hand side of your screen. It's SS on your screen at the moment with the polka dot skin suit, the fastest climber in Category 3. He's got 34 seconds to make up on the riders in front. Can he pull them back before we get to the finishing line? Time is going to run out for him. Remember, the riders' prizes, top 5 riders take prizes, the rankings, all per category. But of course, everybody wants to be the first rider over the line. Warren and White are continuing to push at the front of the race. SS is coming up behind. 20 seconds is the gap. We've got the final section to go for the leaders on the road. They're round that right-hand turn. They're just out of sight, I think, here of SS taking that right-hand turn. You can just make out two tiny black figures going around the outside of the bend. But SS at the moment is putting in a monstrous kick here. He wants to get over the top. He wants to be the first rider. He won't be the first rider to the polka dot banner. That's going to be White or Warren. The category 4 leaders are on the way up here. Can they hold off SS on the climb? 20 seconds is the gap, but he's coming and he's coming fast with one more kick to go to the actual finishing line of qualifier race number 4. This is going to be an absolutely key moment. So here with this is the run for the long. It's the kick in. This is going to be critical. Warren, White, SS, Wojciech, they're the top 4 on the road. White and Warren have got a gap. It's 5 seconds and it's coming down faster than we can speak here. The run for the line will be key. Has he got enough to pull him back? White kicks. He's got the polka dot skin to the fastest climber. Brian White is kicking. Warren can't respond. He's not going to do it. It's going to be Brian White. Brian White, your race winner here on Qualifier Race 4. What a ride by White, followed through by Warren, leading through Category 3 is SS. SS takes the win in Category 3. Chase to the line, Jakub Wojciech, what a ride by him. So White and Warren in Category 4, your 1-2. SS leading through Category 3. Wojciech stayed on his wheels for so long. He's staying clear of Squillari. You've got Horsley, Squillari. They're the riders in 3rd place in Categories 4 and 3. Just taking a look down. Is there any Category 2 anywhere near? No, thank goodness for that. I'm going to need to take a breather on the way in. It's frantic today. Jakub Wojciech, 2nd place in Category 3. Congratulations to him. Amazing ride and fantastic stuff. Remember, all our riders subject to verification. All these results are subject to verification as well. Jeff Rooney on a fantastic ride here, kicking it in up towards the finishing line. This is going to be really, really key. Who's going to take this run in to the finish? Kevin Hawes is going to go across in 3rd place. He goes underneath the banner. It's going to be Squillari going in for Category 3 here behind. Look at this, Catabona and Rooney come through. Great result, Jeff Rooney. The skin suit works there. My goodness gracious me, what a run in for the line in Category 4 and Category 3. Category 4, Brian White in 1, Ola Warren in 2, Kevin Horsley in 3, Leonard Greg Catabona in 4, Jeff Rooney in 5, Jacques Rusinek in 6, Matt Smithson in 7. In Category 3, you can see the chasing bunch are on the run for the finish now. Remember, we've had our first 2 riders in through and over the line. SS in 1, we've got Wojciech in 2, Squillari in 3. This is the run for 4 and 5 at the moment. Van Wellegem, what a ride by him. He's come up the top here. He's climbed the ascent first, and it's going to count. He's going to come in through the line for 4th. It's going to be a 5th for Crimson was, and it's going to be, I think, 6th for Montoya. Going to get a double check on those, actually. It's been absolutely crazy on the way through. So going up over the top, Category 3. What a finish. SS taking the win from Wojciech in 2, from Squillari in 3, from Van Wellegem in 4, Robert Edwards in 5, and then we are going to see the rest of these riders come in. Nicholas Spratt in 7th place after being in that leading group for a long time. The top 10 rounded out by Nicol Kansara. Great racing. All the results are provisional, subject to verification by the team at MyWhoosh. Frantic finish, and our last 2 categories are still to hit that final climb. Bjarhead is going to hit that in the lead of Category 2 at the moment. He's on his way in. He's got Krasnich on his wheels. Those two riders have got a 10-second gap to Ospina, to Downey, Walter and Harvey. But as we've seen, 10 seconds can be wiped away in the blink of an eye on the climb. Onto the climb they go. This is going to be telling as the riders come in. 43k covered at the front of the race in category 2. The leaders on the left of your screen, the chasers on the right hand side of your screen. This is going to be critical. 200 meters. You can see them up in front. In fact, of the group on the right hand side, you see the leaders, just those tiny green dots in the distance on the right hand side. That is what this group needs to do. Catch that group back, catch the pair back. Bjarhead, Krasnich on the left. Bjarhead leading with the dark hair. Krasnich behind him with the grey there. They're chasing hard. They're going to work hard. They got to pull the pair back. Can this group with Walter, Harvey, Carradine, Howeiler in the pack, Gombert, Van Heat. I mean, it is a who's who. This is a huge pack of riders. Who is going to make the junction? Will it be any one of these riders? Will they not get them back? They are closing. The gap is coming down, but over the top will go our two leaders first. They're going to go on to the final climb, the final part, the final climb. Very, very quickly indeed. Everybody in the red zone here. They're still spread across the road. They're answering the attacks by each other. The only two riders are the front two who have gone clear. This is going to be really, really key. Can they make the gap back? There are riders being dispatched off the back. One or two riders now starting to struggle with the pace here of this group on this steep section. Well, look at this, the gap. It's looking like it's showing us 24 seconds. That is because this is live time. We're going to head on to the climb. We're going to head into the pack very, very quickly here. Bjarhead descends here. He has got Krasnich for company. Behind it is Van Heen and Heaney. The group going over the top there, right hand side of your screen. That is category 2. Left hand side of your screen, the category 1 leading group, I think, are here. I'm just looking for the key riders of Kaminsky and Knudsen. They're in this group, so the pack is back together in category 1. They've not broken apart as category 2 go up on to the upper slopes. No, they've got to make this count. Can they get there? Can they make the junction? Can they get to Jonas Bjarhead? Can they get to Krasnich? Can Kayan kick in? He's got the polka dot skin suit of the best climber. He's got his brother Bert Kane right behind him. These are the riders they're chasing, and the pace that's being put down by Jonas Bjarhead. He's opening the gap. Bjarhead being spurred on. He's got company in the pain cave. He's got to keep kicking. He's about a third of the way up. He's over the first steep step. What can Krasnich do? Krasnich is behind him. That gap, it's minimal. 2 seconds. You've got to stay calm. You've got to have something left because it kicks again at the top of the climb. The final run in is tough. 200 meters, remember, from the polka dot banner to the finishing line. Jonas Bjarhead of Sweden leading this race out. Behind him, James Krasnich coming from New Zealand right on the punch. He's trying to get the gap back down. Bert Kane, they've got it to 11 seconds at the moment. Bert and Kaan Kane ahead with a gap back to Alex Heaney. The two Turkish riders looking very strong. Bert Kane leading the pair up here at the moment. They're working together. They need to work together because the gap is still there. Bjarhead leading. Krasnich at 3 seconds. 11 seconds of the cans. Then we've got Alami and Heaney and co. A big pack trying to chase down. Howeiler is still in the mix as well. Can they bring back the riders through the banner? Bjarhead has gone. He's got the fastest time in terms of points. He's got that polka dot skin suit. He's out the saddle. He's kicking at 8 watts per kilo. He's dancing on those pedals, trying to set the tempo, set the pace that will keep him clear of James Krasnich. Surely he's got enough. He's got the gap. Krasnich is not able to answer the move being made by Bjarhead. Khan Kane adds to his points total to take back that polka dot skin suit, which means that the man in green with the black shorts, the man from Sweden, Jonas Bjarhed, is going to hit the line. Your race winner in Category 2 on qualifier race number 4 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. What a race finish by Jonas Bjarhed ahead of James Krasnich. Great ride by him. He takes second place. Bert Kahn takes away a third place here. And then the run coming behind. Big kick in by Alex Heaney to go over the top of Khan Kane in the closing moments. So what a finish. Category 1, they're on the final slopes as well. So the riders really continue to push their way in to the finish in all of our race categories here today on the MyWhoosh Sunday race qualifier number 4 before our finals next week. So quick roundup. Bjarhed from Krasnich, from Ken, from Heaney Alami, then Khan Kane, then Van Hee, Howeiler, Carradino, Spinner, Walter, Gombert and Harvey. 13 riders already in Category 2. Massive pack chasing the leaders that we saw in across your screens. Now, Category 1, we have got a bunch of sprint in the last 200 meters because that is what's going to happen. Jasper Paradines is leading this out. All bets are off at this stage. Now, Jason Osborne, he pedals his way up here. He's put down 11 watts per kilo to open the gap to Paradines, Jones, Kaminsky, Safrazadi and Knudsen. Who can answer this? Can anybody come back to Jason Osborne? Osborne has done an egg glance. He's a seated sprint up here. It's going to be Jason Osborne who takes this. He comes to the front at the right moment. Jason Osborne takes away the win on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in Category number 1. What a ride by Osborne. Cool, calm, collected. Osborne is back. He's on the top step. Second place to Paradines. Then Ollie Jones in third. Kaminsky in 4. Bjarhed in 5. Safrazadi in 5. Great riding by Said Safrazadi to take away 5th place there. That is an absolutely brutal finish. That sprint, where did Osborne pull that out from? He'd been in contention, he'd been marking the moves, but he hadn't animated it. Brave ride by Michael Knudsen. He was on the attack all day long. Really, really putting the power, putting the pace, putting the pressure. What a ride. Wow. Okay, let's grab you the results as they stand. They're coming in live, so remember all these subject to verification and all available on the MyWhoosh page. Your top 5 in Category 1. Jason Osborne taking the win in 1 hour 5 minutes and 2 seconds from Jasper Paradines, Ollie Jones, Michael Kaminsky and Said Safrazadi. And Michael Knudsen coming in 6th place, Daniel Turek in 7th, Hayden Pucker coming through to take an 8th place. And the riders behind still continue to come in. In Category 2, it's Krasnich, James Krasnich from Bert Kane, from Alex Heaney, then Mohammed El Alami and Khan Kane rounding out your top 5. In Category 3, SS taking the win from Jakub Vajocek in 2nd, Zach Pedersen taking away Nick Scolari taking away a 3rd, then Stan Van Welligan taking 4th, and Robert Edwards taking away a 5th place in Category 3. Then in Category 4, well, it was Brian White in 1, Ola Warren in 2, then it was quite a gap back actually. So it was then Kevin Horsley taking away 3, Cadabona taking away 4, and Jeff Rooney taking away top 5 place. All those results updating as we speak, which is why I'm scrolling through the screens faster than my fingers can move. What a packed race. Absolutely frantic. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you very much to our riders for giving us such great attacking action. It's the end of our qualifiers for September. Next week is going to be our finals. Don't forget you can join me, Matt Payne. Please do give me a follow. It's at Matt Fix Payne. Send me pictures at Payne Cave. Love to see what you're up to, where you're racing, and just how tough it can be. Let me know if you are out and about. If you are in Zurich, don't forget to go say hi to the team from MyWhoosh. Out there, we have got Cy Bradley. We've got also Emma Martin, co-commentator, and she's commentating on the Para game. So you won't find it anywhere but a commentary box whilst the Para Road Championship is in action. But outside of that, you're going to see, I know she's going to be heading down to the MyWhoosh stand on a number of occasions as well. So do catch up with her. Don't forget, you can follow MyWhoosh on social media. It is at MyWhoosh on Facebook and Instagram. It is my_whoosh on X. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the channel for lots of great content and all of the race action. A massive thank you to watching. A thank you to our riders for keeping us on the edge of our seats right up to the line. A big, big thank you to the team behind the scenes who have made it all work today, as always. And of course, I think it's time for me to go find ice cream and coffee before this throat of mine gives up and I'm not ready to run next week. Stay safe. We'll see you again soon. Goodbye.